Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm Malicious Female Fan, Steve Malicious here. I almost didn't have this video today. I have to have a root canal, got a problem with my tooth, all the rest of it, but it doesn't matter. Because tech reviewer rule number 4, no excuses, play like a champion. We may have borrowed some rules from it. It doesn't matter. S21 Ultra, my 48-hour impression / review. And if you're new to the channel, you don't know how we do reviews around here. We're not spec intensive. We're not going to go nuts with the Snapdragon 888 and the performance. Top of the line, everything. And we're going to talk about the camera, mostly the autofocus, if they fix that. But we're not. It's not going to be f1 point whatever. Just the right amount of Fs. It's got just the right amount of Fs to take a fantastic photo. But we're going to talk about all that. We'll get to it. The S21 Ultra today on this edition of Steve Malicious Tech. We're back, and as always, thank you so much to all of the new subscribers, getting ever so close to 2,800. If you're loving all the tech stuff, both new and old, go ahead and give that subscribe button a tussle. It certainly means a lot to me. So what do I mean when I say we're not going to go spec heavy on this particular device? When I'm looking at something like the Samsung S21 Ultra, I really want to dive into how it feels. I don't want to spend 15 minutes on specs and features that you may use 5% of the time. I want to spend 15 minutes on the features and user experience that you're going to have 95, 100% of the time, every time you pick up this device and unlock that screen. So, where does this one fit? Is there a huge jump? I think if you're coming from an S10 Plus, which I made sure to use for a week before this arrived, so I'd have kind of a fresh idea of what was like, absolutely, it is time to upgrade. I'm going to warn you one thing, though. Even if you're coming from a Note 10 Plus, and yeah, I'm kind of focusing on people who are on the every other year upgrade cycle, because I think that's reasonable. If you have an S20 Ultra, maybe you're frustrated with the autofocus on the camera and you just want to upgrade, that's a different story. But people coming from an S10 Plus, a Note 10 Plus, know this. Absolute upgrade, definitely worth it if you're looking for a new Samsung device. Quite a bit heavier. Not that much heavier than the S20 Ultra, but a heck of a lot heavier than the other ones. It ranges like 30 grams, but it's enough where you do notice it. It is enough where you do notice it. This is a beefy boy, okay? This is chunky. So if you're someone who really doesn't like those heavier devices, this one may not be for you. The other thing that I was really looking forward to, even just coming from the Fold 2, is the refresh rate and how they handled the dynamic refresh rate, or whatever they call it, the one that manages battery life. And I could safely say that unlike the Fold 2, where I don't really notice it now, it could be the larger display, it is tougher to tell refresh rates over a larger surface area, I can feel the 120 hertz on the S21 Ultra. In the menus, opening up apps, closing apps that you might not even think. See, on the other ones, I felt like with the dynamic refresh rate, it was pulling back in the menus. It was pulling back in different the animations and stuff like that it considers non-mission critical. You're not playing a game. You're not scrolling, so perhaps you don't need the full refresh rate. They've kept more of that in, which I really enjoy, because you do need those things. That's what you're using, and your eyes love it. You really get that. You want it. You paid for it. You want to experience that 120 hertz. And I like that they left a lot of it in, even if it hurt battery. But listen, 5,000 milliamp hours now on this flagship device, and you can't kill it. It's very tough to kill it. Unless you're a hardcore power user, we're talking 6, 7, 8 hours of battery. This was able to make it the whole day, and I still had 60% left to go. And that was with, I would say, average use, 4 hours, 5, average person use. Not going super hard on games, but also not underusing the device as well. You'd be more than okay with the battery on the S21 Ultra. I like the display. Beautiful OLED as always. Samsung making some of the best panels, best contrast, punchy colors. I like the fact that it's basically the waterfall cascading sides are down to a minimum. That's really going to help. I ordered the pen. That's really going to help with that, because I get most of the screen real estate with the pen before it starts to fall off, but there's enough of an edge there that you can kind of pull up your Edge apps and not have an issue with it. Speaking of the frames, games, I'll tell you this, both in the screen and also the refresh rate, this is the best Pokemon Go experience you're going to have on a handheld device, on your phone, your mobile device. Even better than the Fold 2. I tell you, if you're a big-time Pokemon Go player, let's go ahead, let's curveball this guy right now. Early on, with the Razor, we're just going to get an excellent throw on camera. It's fine. It's fine. It's genetics. You can't turn it off. But anyway, the Razor Phone 2, early on, with 120 hertz, could not handle throwing curveballs, could not handle the game in general. No problems here. They've since updated it. It's so silky smooth. It is great. Great big screen, 6.8 inches, and great color, so it's a great experience. And you get top-of-the-line frames in all your other games. Call of Duty Mobile, PUBG, no issues. If you're a gamer and you were deciding maybe between this and the Fold 2, I would absolutely go with the S21 Ultra. So let's talk about that camera. Is the autofocus fixed? Yes. And I'll tell you what, this little guy is what helps with it. When you go with laser autofocus, and anyone who had it, I'll tell you what, some of the best autofocus still to this day is the LG V20 with that laser autofocus. Once you go to that, you're talking about precision. And I really tried to flummox it. I was swinging it back and forth in the room, and it was focusing on everything. And when it does struggle for a split second, if it detects that it's not zooming in and getting the exact crisp image that you want, it'll actually go to a focus enhancer mode that then will shift the images slightly but get the focus right immediately, because they knew. And what's the point of 108 megapixels and all this crazy stuff if you can't focus on what you're looking at? If you can't focus on the photo that you actually want, there's no point. So they went to town. They went back to the drawing board. They got themselves a more traditional autofocus system, and it works great. And the camera, listen, the periscope, it's fine. You're going to get 10 times optical, which is quite nice. A bit gimmicky once you get out to 30 and 50. And what are you doing? What are you doing? You know, if you need 100x zoom, chances are that someone needs to call the cops on you. All right? You're doing things you shouldn't be doing. All right? Keep it to 30x and under. Right? If you're that far away, you don't need to be seeing what they're not letting you see. Anyway, we'll show you some shots here. Definitely a step up. I was impressed with the S10 Plus camera, with the iPhone camera, the iPhone 12 now camera. And it gets, when you start getting to flagship level of camera performance, you really start to get subjective. It's more, what type of photo do you like? Do you like that punchier photo? Do you like the warmer photo? Do you like the colder photo of perhaps a pixel? It's really just what you like. So here are a couple samples of cats, of course. But I was really struck by the detail. You can see the black cat here. His name is Xavi. In his bed, you could really see the detail right down to the fur. And this was a lower light shot. This is one that I needed to hold for a couple seconds to make sure it had enough information to get the crisp shot. And it really works well. So you don't have no problems, no concerns whatsoever when you're talking about the cameras this year on the S21. You got your usual overkills, the 12 gigs of RAM and all the rest of it. But overall, the feel, when you use it, when you pick it up and use it, you notice that difference. There is that jump in performance from the S10. Not to say the S10 is slow, and a lot of times it's overkill. You know, a Snapdragon 855 is still perfectly viable, and you're going to get phenomenal performance out of it. But you do notice enough of a jump to really enjoy. I could have swore that I would use this for a couple days, and I'd be sitting there saying to myself, geez, I can't wait to get back to my Fold 2. I can't wait to get back to that. The larger display, and just the mechanics of the Fold that I've really been loving. But I can't say that. First of all, this frosted phantom silver looks phenomenal. People could keep that matte darkness black hole black. I never was a big fan of that on phones. They could keep it. I'm loving the phantom silver, which is basically like the Aura Glow, but they frosted it. So you are getting the kind of different colors depending on what angle you hold it at. Oh, that was a good example of that. But overall, I think this is a home run as far as the S21 Ultra. They mailed in. They mailed that one in. They did that one on the back of a napkin. That's a phone that could have been designed by any of the slab makers, period, ended. This one, I feel with the silver accent and the camera hump and the design of it, this one actually is worthy of the design of a flagship phone. $1,200? That's a personal decision. If you're more comfortable with those Me devices that you could get a little cheaper, that might be the way to go. But as far as slabs are concerned, this is absolutely the best experience that I've had on a slab. That's with the Note series, the S series, whatever it happens to be. This one I actually really enjoy using. So if you've been hesitant, if this is your type of phone, if you're somebody who upgrades every couple of years and you're not really worried about it, you're making the payment or whatever, and you just want to upgrade from an S10, be careful of the weight. Like I said, 30 grams more, and it's not just a spec. That's not just a number. You feel it. If you're sitting in bed and you're just holding this up with a couple fingers, you feel the weight. You feel that extra, and it's like, geez, this is chunky. This is a beefy boy. So keep that in mind. If you're somebody, like I said, if you like the light nature of the S10 Plus, this might not be for you. But otherwise, as far as build quality, overall experience, snappiness, it runs great on Android 11. One UI 3.1, no issues whatsoever. I've not had any lag, any stutters, any dips in performance. It's been killer with everything. And it's just everything that you'd want in a flagship device. It's tough to say something's $1,200 is worth it. But if you're somebody who's not ready for something like this, okay, you're not about the folding lifestyle, and you're still over here, and you're big on the top of the line slab, this is it. This is it. So we're going to do some comparison videos. Next week, we're going to compare it to the Fold 2. We're going to have the pros and cons of each, which one you may want to use, and of course, the longer-term reviews as well. But as always, let me know your comments down below. Next week, we'll do kind of the fuller review of the device. So if there's anything that you were really wanting to know about it before you pull the trigger on it, before you make that final decision, ask a question. I'll test it this week and absolutely get back to you. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-alicious day.